it's Jona, and today we are zooming into the future with Phil of the Future. Welcome to DCOMmentary, where I take a look back at Disney Channel original movies and series and talk about their history and things that I liked about them. It's been a while, and I apologize for that. I know that if you had read the emoji hints for the previous episode, this is probably not what you were expecting. The next one was indeed supposed to be Read It and Weep, but then, the holidays happened and I just didn't film. I'm sorry. So to get back on track, I'm just sticking with the schedule I already had planned, and so now we're here talking about Phil of the Future. Ever since I sat down to start filming this, I have wanted to sing the Phil of the Future theme song more than I have in years. I didn't listen to it. I haven't rewatched Phil of the Future in preparation for this. I'm just going off of pure memory. So I kind of want to see how much of the theme song I remember. Okay? I feel pressure. I feel like people in the comments are gonna be like, that's not the words, fake fan. Here we go. Purely from however many years ago this was. Oh my gosh. Off to a great start. So, meet a boy named Phil and his family on vacation from the 22nd century. Found a broken time machine and they're on their way to a time way, way, way back in the day. Now he's Phil of the future. Never knew in history just where he would land. Phil of the future. He's a 22nd century man on holiday through history, but their final destination was a mystery. Something on the time machine went wrong, so they ended up right here in our time zone. And now he's Phil of the future, keeping it together just as best as he can. Phil of the future. He's a 22nd century man. And then there's more of the Phil of the future. He's a 22nd century man. Was that right? Phil of the Future premiered on June 18th, 2004. That is so long ago, but at the same time, I felt like it was earlier than 2004. 2004 seems like a long time ago, but also too late for Phil of the Future. Something else I thought about was that Phil of the Future seemed very short-lived. And that's because it was. There were only 43 episodes and it only lasted for 2 seasons. Genuinely, I have no idea why. So it ended just 2 years later on August 19th, 2006. This seems like a failure on somebody's part at Disney. I would like to talk. I'm not mad. I'd just like to talk. There are so many names in this that I'm probably going to mess up. Classic me. It was created by Douglas Tuber and Tim Mayle, who were also involved with Lizzie McGuire, funnily enough. For Lizzie McGuire, they were writers, executive producers, and consulting producers for 37 episodes. I'm not sure which ones, not sure if they were consecutive, but it's cool that they were involved in both. Phil of the Future was produced by 2121 Productions, which was a part of Brookwell McNamara Entertainment, which produced Even Stevens, the Even Stevens movie, and That's So Raven as well. Phil of the Future, like many shows and movies, didn't start out with the name Phil of the Future. Originally, it was called the Out of Timers. Mystical. The Out of Timers. It wouldn't have as great of a theme song. And now they're the Out of Timers, the Out of Timers, Out of Timers, the Out of Timers. It's terrible. Another change that was made, I guess originally, Phil's mom, Phil and Pam's mom, was supposed to be a robot whose head could be removed from her body for no disclosed reason. I feel like, the whole robot mom thing was kind of done with Smart House, and I feel like it would have just been a gimmick. So I'm kind of glad they didn't do it. It also probably would have aged it even more. The effects wouldn't have been great, and it would have been kind of front and center. I don't know. I don't think it was a good idea. Good thing they didn't do it. I think that's what saved this show. It would not have even gotten 2 seasons with that. The theme song. I feel like all I'm talking about is the theme song, but that's because it's the best. The theme song was written by John Adair and Steve Hampton and sung by Lauren Ellis and the Drew Davis Band, who also did the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody theme song. What a track record. I have this memory of me sitting on the living room floor watching Phil of the Future in my childhood home and then singing the theme song constantly all night. I remember this. It was yesterday. I think they used to play just the theme song, during commercial breaks for other shows, which had to have helped promote this, because if I heard that and I didn't know what it was, you bet I'd be tuning in. It's amazing. Phil of the Future had a great cast. Everybody was so talented and so funny, and they all had such great chemistry. It starred Raviv Ullman, Ali Mashaka, Amy Bruckner, Craig Anton, Lee Sins, Brenda Song, JP Minot, Kay Panabaker, Evan Peters, and Brandon Smith. A lot of these people you'll recognize from other projects, whether it's Disney or elsewhere. Raviv Ullman, that is a star right there. I loved him. I think we all did. I think everybody out there. At the time he went by Ricky. I think we all loved Ricky. I mean, come on, you had to have had a crush on him. I won't tell anybody. Your secret's safe with me, but at the same time, it's not a secret. We all did. And Phil was just such a great character anyway. Enough about my obsession with him. He auditioned in New York City and flew out to LA 2 times for different tests and reads. He met Kay Panabaker for his first network test. I'm not really sure what a network test is. Kay Panabaker seems like somebody really random for him to read off with as a character, but maybe she was up for a different character? Maybe Kay was up for, Pim? Maybe? Did I call Pim Pam earlier? We need an instant replay. Phil's mom, Phil and Pam's mom. Oh my gosh. What is wrong with me? He also did a chemistry read with Craig Anton, and he could not stop laughing, so he thought he messed up, but I'm sure it was super endearing and really gave off the, family dynamic. Phil's family is from the year 2121, which is a callback to the production company that put it together. They're from 2021. They're from 2121 and stuck in 2004. In season 1, Phil was a freshman in high school, and in season 2 he was a sophomore, which honestly surprised me because when I was younger watching this, they seemed so old. I'm now reading that they were so young. I thought they were so old. Pim is 2 years younger than Phil, and so she was in 7th grade in season 1 and 8th grade in season 2. She also seemed so much older, but she was even younger than Phil. Which I knew she was younger than Phil, but they were babies. One of my favorite parts of Phil of the Future was the dynamic between Keely and Phil as best friends, but I definitely wanted them to be more than best friends. I shipped them so hard. At the young age I was, 8, that was probably my first ship, or one of them. I felt like I was always waiting for Keely and Phil to get together. And it's funny because it's not like I watch these in order. These days things are streamed and you watch episodes in chronological order. Pretty sure I just watched Phil of the Future whenever it was on the TV, and so I don't know, it was always just a constant wait. They did, however, admit their feelings for each other in the series finale. The final seconds! I can't imagine how infuriating that must have been for people that kept up with the show, that were older than me, that were waiting for it to happen, and it happened on the last episode. I would be so mad. Raviv has said that he has no idea why the show ended, but that he's always up for a romantic cliffhanger. I'm not! We need to reboot this! I need to know what happened with Keely and Phil. I know they did an episode. I have this vague recollection that just came to me of them flashing forward and Keely is married, but she doesn't see who it is. I like to think it was Phil. I think this is the perfect opportunity for a reboot. I truly do. Put it on Disney Plus. It will be amazing. Anyway, here's some fun facts. I'm just so upset about Keely and Phil never being together for us to see. Amy, who played Pim, and Allie, who played Keely, actually painted their schoolroom desks. And they also have said that they used to make water balloon babies. I have no idea what that is. I was a child of this time. I'm pretty sure I never made that. What is a water balloon baby? Ali Mashaka as Keely is so iconic in my mind, almost like Alex Russo is, that iconic. Keely was the coolest. I wanted to be Keely so badly. I was like, wow, I wish I was Keely and I had a boyfriend. Well, he wasn't her boyfriend, but I had Phil, and I would be so cool with all my fashion and all my hair. I would look so great and I would feel great. I don't know, I just seriously thought she was the coolest ever. Another fun fact that has nothing to do with the show and everything to do with my own life, I went to theater school with a girl who looked exactly like Amy Bruckner. She looked so much like Pim, and we would all tell her all the time, and I think she got a little annoyed, but I'm not entirely convinced that it wasn't actually Amy. Think about it. A Phil of the Future video game was released in 2006. It has a really weird premise, and I kind of hope I can find it on eBay and play it. I don't even know if I have the device, but it just sounds so ridiculous. Pim uses a cloning machine to create clones of a pet from the future called Blaz, and Phil has to stop them. Yeah. Raviv says that he would like to see Phil come back and help save the planet from environmental ruin. And honestly, please. I truly think that Phil of the Future would make a fantastic reboot for Disney Plus. They could make it like more sci-fi-y to like pull in those fans, like with cool, really cool effects and gadgets from 2021. I keep saying 2021. 21. Imagine how cool it would be, seriously. I think Allie would be up for it. I'm sure maybe Amy would come back to acting. She's now a lawyer, but I think if the opportunity presented itself, maybe it would. We all know by now that Christy Carlson Romano does a bunch of videos about, like, her past, and she made a video about how Even Stevens would never have a reboot, and I think for the reason she stated that Phil of the Future would work. She was saying there's no, like, what did she call it, like, selling point thing, but I think the selling point of Phil being from the future and like future-y things is a really great selling point, and I think it should happen. So there is a little history about Phil of the Future. I would love to hear in the comments all about your favorite Phil of the Future memories. Were you obsessed with the theme song? Do you want to go listen to it right now? Because I do. I think Phil of the Future is on Disney Plus. I should have looked. If it is, I think I'm gonna revisit it because it would just be so fun. It was such a fun show. It was so funny and just really different from anything else that I was watching at the time. The next episode of DCOMmentary is a special anniversary episode, which will probably help give it away what it is. It is a DCOM, so keep that in mind when you guess in the comments. I'm so excited about it. I love you all. Stay beautiful, you people. Bye!